It's already difficult, right? And especially the closer you get to the Kaaba, the harder it is. People don't care. Everybody pushes around, and subhanAllah, sometimes you also wonder what the people are doing there. I remember in my experience in Umrah, I saw these group of women, they form like this queue, and they will like ram through everybody to go and touch the Hajar al-Aswad. Has anyone seen this? Basically, you have a group of people, they form like this line, and they ram through the crowd so that they can go touch the Hajar al-Aswad. When I saw them, I said, "Go, go! I'm not here to fight anybody. We didn't come there to, lose our rewards." Anyway, so this person is doing tawaf, but not any regular tawaf. He's carrying his mother on his back, and he's reciting poetry. What is he saying? He says, "Inni laha ba'iruha al-mudallal, in ud'irat rikabuha lam ud'ar." He says that I am her camel, who is humble, meaning that a person rides on the camel, and the camel is under the human, and so it's humble towards the human, and it's carrying the human. It's kind of doing khidmah, it's serving the human. So he's saying that I'm like the camel, and my mother is riding my back. And he says, in ud'irat rikabuha, if her camel feels afraid or gets tired, lam ud'ar, I don't get tired. I still keep carrying her, and I do tawaf. So then he continues, he says, حَمَلْتُهَا أَكْثَرَ مِمَّا حَمَلَتْ. He says that I have carried her more than she carried me. فَهَلْ تَرَى جَازَيْتُهَا يَا ابْنَ عُمَرَ. Why is he saying that I have carried her more than she carried me? Is because his logic is that she carried me when I was puny, just maybe a few pounds, right? And maybe even less than that as a fetus, and basically before birth. So, and I'm carrying her in old age, and now she's heavy. So I'm carrying her more than she carried me. Do we all understand the logic? Her logic is that she carried me, I was a little baby, okay, whatever, big deal, right? But I'm carrying her, she's a grown woman, and that's heavy on me. So then he asks the question, فَهَلْ تَرَى جَازَيْتُهَا يَا ابْنَ عُمَرَ. Do you think, O Ibn Umar, do you think that I have repaid her? And so Abdullah ibn Umar says, لَا وَلَا بِزَفْرَةٍ وَاحِدَةٍ. He says, no, not even for one of the screams that she screamed when she was giving birth to you. Not even for one of those screams. Zafra is a specific word in Arabic that means such a scream that the internal body parts basically shake, shiver from that scream. So one thing is that a person yells, right? Okay, chalo, people yell. It happens. But the other thing is this involuntary kind of yelling, this shriek out of pain. Like when you feel such pain that you have no control over it, and you yell to such an extent that your internal body, you're also clenching your muscles, right? And that's zafra. And so when a woman goes through birth, many of you who are fathers, you've experienced this. Some fathers, they stay out of the birthing room, right? They go outside. We shouldn't do that, actually. We should actually... I made it a point to stay with my wife the entire time, because it also gives you the sense about what women folk go through just to give birth. And then after that, raising the child, all the hardship that comes along with it. So it's our duty as well to feel and sympathize for our women folk. So in any case, it's an involuntary kind of pain. It's a very, they have no control over the kind of pain that comes. They'll start screaming. So this is why it says, وَلَا بِزَفْرَةٍ وَاحِدَةٍ. Not even one scream have you repaid yet, right? So then Abdullah ibn Umar continued doing tawaf, and when he reached the maqam, meaning the maqam Ibrahim, he prayed 2 rak'ah, and he said that, O son of Abu Musa, meaning O Abu Burda, if two rak'ah that are prayed here, تُكَفِّرَانِ مَا أَمَامَهُمَا, they forgive basically all of the sins of the past. So he mentioned the fadail of praying 2 rak'ahs after tawaf in front of the maqam Ibrahim. We all know this is part of the etiquette of tawaf, that when we're done, then in front of Maqam Ibrahim. And if we cannot in front of Maqam Ibrahim, then anywhere. It's difficult. Most times it's difficult to pray in front of Maqam Ibrahim. People won't let you. So the point from this hadith is the statement of Abdullah ibn Umar that even by carrying her throughout the tawaf, you haven't even repaid her just for one scream, right? So this is the value of the sacrifice of the parents. In the next hadith, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah says, وبه قال حدثنا عبد الله بن صالح قال حدثني الليث قال حدثني خالد بن يزيد عن سعيد بن أبي هلال عن أبي حازم عن أبي مرة مولى عقيل أن أبا هريرة رضي الله عنه وعنهم كان يستخلفه مروان. So Abu Murrah, he says that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, he had such value in the time of Marwan. Marwan was one of the Khulafa afterwards, right, in the Umayyi era. So when Marwan used to leave the capital, then he used to appoint Abu Hurairah to be in charge of the decisions. So one time Abu Hurairah, he is in Dhul Hulayfa, and his mother had a house over there. This hadith basically shows us what the relationship between children and parents should be. And it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street, right? Unfortunately, I usually talk about this, that today's society, everyone focuses on my rights, my rights, my rights. What is due to me, right? Children focus on that, parents focus on that, siblings focus on that. Every employer's employee, everybody thinks about what is my right, what is due to me, what am I owed, right? The children will complain, they'll say, oh, my parents, they don't understand me. I have these needs, and this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what my friends are up to, and my parents, they just don't understand me, right? They don't get me. And the parents, they'll say that, oh, look, my children, they don't respect me. So everybody is thinking about what is owed to them. Islam teaches you the opposite. Islam teaches us, what do I owe other people? This is ajib hikmat in that. The wisdom behind that is when you think about what you owe other people, if everybody did that, then everybody's rights would be fulfilled, right? So what is happening here is the relationship between the son and the mother. So Abu Hurairah's mother used to have a house in Dhul Hulayfa. So she lived in her house, and Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu had his own house. So then, فَإِذَا أَرَادَ أَن يَخْرُجَ وَقَفَ عَلَى بَابِهَا. So every time he would, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu would go anywhere, this is what he would do. He would pass by his mother's door, and then he would say, Assalamu alayki ya ummatahu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And so he would give salam, and she would reply, Wa alayka ya bunayya wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Then he would say, Rahimakillahu kama rabbaytani saghira. He would always repeat this, that may Allah have mercy on you because of the way that you were kind to me and you had mercy on me when I was small. And then the mother would reply, فَتَقُولُ رَحِمَكَ اللَّهُ كَمَا بَرَتَّنِي كَبِيرًا. And may Allah have mercy on you because of the way you treated me well when you were grown up. Right? So this is, subhanAllah, such a reciprocal relationship between the child and the parent. It's very rare in our society that we have this kind of open and express appreciation. Especially in Desi culture, we consider it taboo to praise our children or to say something to our parents that's affectionate, right? Between children, it's like that. Between parents, it's also like that. It's like this tough love relationship, right? I'm not saying this is always the case, but many times it is, right? Many times it's hard for a child to say when they're grown up that, oh, my father or my mother, I love you. It's very difficult to say, and even if they said it, it might feel a little awkward for both sides, right? But if you look at the way of the Sahaba, this was very normal. This was very normal, that Abu Hurairah is saying, may Allah have mercy on you because of the way you treated me when I was small. So it's not that Abu Hurairah every single time he is passing by and he is thinking, oh yeah, I just had this memory from my childhood. No, it's the fact that he truly appreciates the entire product of his life is basically a product of how the mother had mercy on him. And the mother also feels that, look, my child is grown up now, but he hasn't lost respect for me and he's still kind to me, right? And this is a kind of express relationship that they have, and they express their gratitude towards each other. And this is why also we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man lam yashkurin nas lam yashkurillah." That person who has not been grateful to the creation, they're also ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it starts with our immediate relationships, right? If we can be grateful to our close people, the people that we see on a daily basis, then it's easy to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if we're never thankful to people, this is also something that we'll see in Western culture, the habit of saying thank you. I remember one time one of my relatives, this is many, many years back, they got on the bus, right? The public transit system. And so they asked the bus driver, can you tell me what time it is, right? Then the bus driver said, this is the time. And so they just started walking inside the bus, right? And so the bus driver called that person back. And he said, listen, you think it's my job to tell you what time it is? Right? So, it should be second nature. As Muslims, we should be thanking. We should be overly kind, right? Even opening the door for people, right? These are small, small habits, but people notice these things, right? And our da'wah, the da'wah of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, was not always verbal. Most of the times, it was just through their actions. Most of the times, the da'wah of the Sahaba was through their actions. When people saw them, they said, we want to be like these people. We're ashamed of our culture. We want to leave our culture. We want to be like these people, right? So as Muslims, remember that we are an ambassador for Allah and His Rasul at all times. Wherever we are, if you're Muslim and other people are not Muslim, this means you are representing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam right now. You are the person who is representing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So saying thank you, thanking people, being express and open about it, these are all sunnahs of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. And then the narrator says, ثُمَّ إِذَا أَرَادَ أَن يَدْخُلَ صَنَعَ مِثْلَهُ. And every time he would come back to his house, they would have the same practice. He would pass by his mother's door and say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And she would also reply, and then they would praise each other and be thankful to each other. In the next hadith, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah says, وَبِهِ قَالَ حَدِّثْنَا أَبُو نُعَيْمٍ قَالَ حَدِّثْنَا سُفْيَانٍ عن عطاء بن السائب عن أبيه عن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما وعنهم قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يبايعه على الهجرة. Subhanallah, think about this. A man comes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he's about to do bay'ah for hijrah. Now, hijrah is something that we might not understand today. When we say hijrah, what does this mean? Migration, right? Migration from where to where? From our countries to America. Huh? No. What is it? Migration from where to where? In the context of the Sahaba, what is it talking about? From Makkah to Medina. Was this sunnah, nafil, fard, wajib, or was it? It was fard. People did not have the option, except very few people, they had the permission to stay back. But for everybody, it was fard to basically migrate to Medina. And when you're migrating, basically you have to think about what's happening is that the mushrikun of Makkah, they're not letting the people go, right? Because of course they can bully the people as long as they're there. If they leave, then they can't do anything. So what did they do? They would try to stop people from going, right? And so how did people go? They would quickly gather their belongings and they would try to go. Which means that they can't take their homes, they can't sell their homes, they can't really properly take care of their belongings. They have to kind of just let things go and just move, right? So this is why there's a specific ayah that was revealed for this, because this is not an easy thing to do. Imagine you have an expensive home and you have everything in it and you just have to quickly pack and go, right? And you can't take like multiple camels with all your belongings, because that's going to slow you down. People will catch up to you and try to kill you, right? So they packed whatever they could and they would just leave. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اشْتَرَى مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُمْ بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ. Allah is saying about the people that did hijrah, that Allah is buying. Ishtara. Ishtara literally in Arabic means to buy. مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَنفُسَهُمْ, their lives, their time, وَأَمْوَالَهُم, and their wealth as well, بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ. In exchange, Allah is giving them Jannah. Right? This is a trade that happened. So this is hijrah. So one person comes to the Prophet ﷺ and he's doing bay'ah. He's basically promising and pledging to him that I will do hijrah. But he left his parents. وَتَرَكَ أَبَوَيْهِ يَبْكِيَانِ. And his parents were crying. Right? What did Rasulullah ﷺ say? He said, "Irji' ilayhima," he says, go back to them. وَأَضْحِكْهُمَا كَمَا أَبْكَيْتَهُمَا, and make them laugh just like you made them cry. Right? This is in the face of hijrah. Hijrah is fard. Hijrah is fard, and Allah has given a trade. He says, this is my deal. You leave everything, do hijrah, I give you Jannah. But Rasulullah ﷺ is saying, no, you made them cry, go back to them, make them laugh like you've made them cry. So these are just some examples of what Imam Bukhari rahimahullah is trying to answer the question, that is it possible for a person to repay their parents? And this another hadith that Imam Bukhari rahimahullah mentions is similar to the one before. We'll just read it. وبه قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن شعبة ابن شيبة قال أخبرني ابن أبي الفديق قال حدثني موسى عن أبي حازم عن أبا مرة مولى أم هانئ بنت أبي طالب أخبره أنه ركب مع أبا هريرة رضي الله عنهم إلى أرضه بالعقيق، فإذا دخل أرضه صاح بأعلى صوته: عليك السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته يا أمتاه. فتقول: وعليك السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. يقول: رحمك الله كما ربيتني صغيرا. فتقول: يا بني وأنت فجزاك الله خيرا ورضي الله عنك كما بررتني كبيرا. This is the same narration as before. There's a small addition that the mother of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, she would actually say, فَجَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا, may Allah reward you with goodness, وَرَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْكَ, and may Allah be pleased with you, just like you have been kind to me when you are older. So inshallah we'll stop here, but these couple of narrations, they give us things to think about. Number one, that when our interactions with people, we should be appreciative. Sometimes somebody is younger than us, and it's difficult for us to be appreciative of them. But we should. Why? Because this is the sunnah of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Sometimes, as children, it feels awkward to say something kind or to say something that expresses love to our parents. But we should. Why? Because this is the sunnah of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Right? Sometimes our culture contradicts that, but the culture is only important as long as it aligns with Sharia. This is a very important principle. Right? People will say, you need to preserve your culture. Of course you need to preserve your culture. But only if it aligns with the Sharia. If the culture contradicts the Sharia, if the culture contradicts the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then every time we give preference to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is one thing, being thankful to people, even when it might seem awkward. The second thing is to recognize the value of our parents, right? To recognize what we owe them, and that we'll never really be able to pay them back. So to try our best to have that kind of good relationship. And I'll just mention one last kind of psychological point, because nowadays we live in the era of science, so everybody loves science. The people who are the most secure, psychologically secure in their relationships with other people, for example, with their significant others, like their spouse, partners, with their employer, employee, the people that have the most secure relationships are the people that grow up with secure relationships with their parents. So, subhanAllah, we see Sharia tells us something, but there's a benefit to it too, right? That if a child makes the effort to have a good relationship with their parent, and the parents make an effort to have a good relationship with the child, then this actually creates a psychologically resilient child as well. A child who is secure, who is not afraid. And also we see there's many psychological studies that show that a child who grew up without proper relationship with their parents, for the rest of their lives, they're actually insecure. So they're afraid of people leaving them, right? They get very possessive over their partners. Like, sometimes people get married and they're like, oh, let me see what you're doing on your phone, and always kind of tracking what the spouse is doing. This is actually a product of insecurity. And a lot of times these things happen because they didn't have a good relationship with their parents, a strong bond with their parents. So it's very important for us as parents also to worry about that, to create a kind of loving and nurturing, caring environment at home, to not always take out our anger. And we're all humans, we all make mistakes, so it's very important that we keep those things in mind. And for the children also, it's very important that we make an effort to always have a good relationship with our parents. We're humans, we make mistakes. Our parents are humans, they make mistakes as well. But throughout those mistakes, we have to do our best to keep a very good relationship with them. May Allah grant us the tawfiq to follow the sunnah of the Sahaba and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Inshallah, we can pray Salatul Ishraq. Ji. Yeah. So there are actually two aspects to this. On the day of judgment, one of the things that a person will have to worry about is the rights of Allah. And the second thing is حقوق العباد, the rights that we owe to other people. And you're right, the main question that people will have is the rights that were owed to them. But Sharia in the world, not in the akhirah, in the dunya, Sharia focuses on what you owe to other people, what we owe to other people. So a person should be thinking, we do counseling. So I remember very recently that there was a husband and wife. They were just married for 1 year, and they're thinking of getting divorced. So I asked, okay, what's the problem? And so the wife says, oh, my husband didn't do this, didn't do this, didn't do this. When he comes home, he does this, and he has a job, but he's not trying to get better at his job and get a better job, and so on and so forth. And then the husband says, oh, my wife doesn't do this for me, doesn't do this, doesn't do this. So I said, look, your problems are actually so small. Why? Because all you're focusing on is what should the other person do for me, right? Criticizing. What if you thought about, okay, what should I do for the other person? Then both of your needs would be fulfilled, right? So in Sharia, and this is also not just in Islam, I have a little bit of expertise on indigenous cultures, like here in North America, native people. In their societies also, they have this similar idea of reciprocality, which is basically you think about what you owe other people, not. And in Western society, is the exact opposite. We all talk about human rights. What my rights, my rights, my rights. They'll say like if you're not harming anybody, then don't worry. Like you can do whatever you want. We have freedom. We have freedom. We have our own choice. It's my life. I'm important. My opinions matter. Me, 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 me. Nafsi, 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 nafsi. Right? In Arabic, there's a term for this. Ananiya. Ananiya means I-ness. Right? I don't know in Urdu. What do you say? Huh? Anania is a very unique word. You don't have a proper translation. In English, you would say I-ness, right? The focus on I. Yeah, kind of like egocentrism, if we can say that. But in Sharia, it's the opposite. That you're thinking about others, you're thinking about the community, you're thinking about your family, you're thinking about your parents, you're thinking about the children, right? May Allah grant us the tawfiq to appreciate the pristine Sharia that we have. آخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
कभी तैयारी होगा इंशाअल्लाह चाहे तो हमें फिर परिवार में चिकन चिट्टिनाट